Okay, I'm going to show you guys how to make a quick and easy snowflake here. And we're going to use our specialty stitches. So this is part one, which is actually getting ready to make it here. I have 2 squares of fabric here that I have cut out. They're the exact same pieces of fabric, and a piece of batting that's slightly larger than that. And what I'm going to do here is I've pressed it in half. So this will make life easy. And I folded the batting in half. And I happen to have here the Jaybirds Hex and More. You can use any size template you want. It doesn't really matter here. But what we're going to do is put the middle, your long piece of your hex on your fold, which I'm doing here. And if it's off a smidge, don't worry too much, because you'll see what we'll do with this later. But I'm going to go through and I'm going to mark this on the one side, and then I'm going to flip it over and mark it on the other side. Now, because I'm using a dark fabric, I have decided that I am going to use a piece of chalk, which this is the Bowl & Chalk pencil, just to make my life super easy. And what this will enable me to do is to cut both pieces, all these pieces kind of at once when I decide to do this. Just so you can see what I picked here, I have picked this lovely like kind of snowflake stitch on my machine. You may have other stitches on your machine. I've got quite a few here, but this isn't really a complicated one, and you can use anything that's similar. Just use a funny stitch that you haven't used before, but kind of reminds you of winter. Okay, we are going to start in the center here. As you can see, I've pulled up both my bobbin thread and my top thread, and we always start in the center just so that it will all start the same. So you start your stitch fresh every time, and that way everything looks symmetrical. And mine will stitch out here, as you're seeing. And I'm going to stop here at the end of my stitch. If we go over, not a big deal, but you can see how nicely that's stitched out. Now I'm going to do the next 5 arms, and then we'll go from there. Do the equidistant here, so right in the middle of your side, and then whatever that distance was from here to here, do it from here to here, and that'll give you some nice triangles here. That'll be 60 and 30. At any rate, I am going to go back and start this again, and again I'm going to do, start my stitch initially, and I did bury all my stitches in the center. And we're going to start here right on that seam and move my way out. Okay. Clip it there. So it doesn't matter if you go a little past, because we're going to be doing something with this line later. So don't worry if you go past it. But we're going to start again here, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. On this second piece, we're going to come here. Okay, and now what you'll be able to see is that I've buried all my seams on the back side, or buried all my threads on the back side, and this is going to be the start of this. So I'm going to keep working on this little project, and I will show you what to do next once we end up with all of our points here. I'll show you some handy dandy little tricks to go with this. Okay, now you see all this lovely thread we have everywhere. Are you starting to see this beautiful thing take shape? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through and bury a bunch of my threads in the middle here. Not going to worry about the ones on the edge. Now, if you're happy with this, you can end it right here, and I will show you the next step. If not, you can start adding more decorative stuff here in the middle. That's totally up to you how you want to go about this, but you want to add it before we go to our final step here, which is kind of the finish off. And trust me, you are going to love this. I have never been one good at leaving something alone. The distance on my presser foot here, This is a 3/8 inch. So if I want to make sure that each and every time I'm actually turning at the right spot, you just measure your 3/8 inch and put a little dot there. That'll help you actually start and stop at the right places. So if I were to do that here, pull my other thread out. So my 3/8 inch is going to put me right about here, and my 3/8 inch will put me right about here. So that'll give you some good guide points as to where to start and stop your stitches. And I'm just going to give it a start here. I'm going to go to my dot spot here, which is right there. Leave your needle down, turn, go to the next one, turn, go to the next one, turn, and then we can do this last turn here. Okay, now here's the fun part we have going on here. So I have put mine together. Don't you love how this is looking? And I'm going to add more special stuff to it when I get ready to, but I just thought I'd show you what I have so far. Now I have marked another hexagon on this other piece, just so you guys are aware. And now what you're going to do is line these hexagons up, one on top of the other. And this may seem like something that might be a little difficult, but you can kind of do a peek here to see if you're close. And what I do here when I say do a peek is you can kind of put your corner here and go, all right, this is my corner there. This should be my corner here. And you can kind of go like that and then kind of give your fabric a little bit of a tug so that it's in the right spot. Then you can check this one. Now the beauty of this is we started out with two identical pieces. So if you get kind of one corner the same, the others should line up pretty well perfectly. Now you're going to say, what are we going to do now? So I have this kind of laid out bizarrely, but we're going to basically sew on our line and turn this thing inside out. Alrighty. Okay, if you guys are ready here, now we have basically pressed this shut, and I've switched my foot here to a quilting foot because I want to do a really scant seam here. I want to make sure that it's just touching the edge here because we're just kind of pressing this through. So I'm going to kind of do an 1/8 of an inch seam here, which means I'm going to go just to the inside edge here of my presser foot. Keep it nice and tight. You'll go to each of your points, and just like we did before, we'll kind of put a little pivot here. This is that spot here where we know we've got the next edge. There we go. All right, so we have trimmed up everything, and we're snipping any little seams that, any little threads that pop through. But we've buried our stitches here, and now we can, if you want to do any additional decoration on this, this is when you'll do it. For me, I'm going to add some additional stitching in here to make it a little bit more decorative. As you can see here, I'll move this out so you can see better. There we go. So I'm going to add a little additional stitching here so it'll be a little prettier. But this is our project.